Hello, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Happy Wednesday. Congratulations on making it this far in the year. I think, not very good with maths, but I think there's only like 9 or 10 weeks left until the end of the year. How exciting is this? And I just also want to say very, very quickly, but very, very genuinely and with such sincerity, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you for listening to the podcast because I heard from a platform called Listen Notes today that our podcast, the one that you're listening to right now, like our podcast, is in the top 5% globally for most popular podcasts. So I wanted to say thank you. That's happened because you listened to it, and I appreciate you so much. Now, since I did last week's episode, a couple of people have asked me for an update on the Etsy store. So I'll just do that before I forget because you know what I'm like with my memory. So Etsy looks like it's going okay at the moment. I think I'm in week 7. At the moment, I've just uploaded another 3 products just now before I came on to do the podcast. And I think we're now up to 90 products in the Hey Therapist store. And what I'm doing now is full transparency. I'm looking through Dropbox and I'm looking for anything that I've got that's relevant to therapists. And I'm seeing now if I can repackage that, update it, refresh it, improve it. And if it's relevant and if it's, good quality, then of course I've started to pop them up in the store. So today I found 3 audio recordings, which is so much fun because I used to be really nervous about doing them. But the good thing about the audio recordings that I remembered was somebody had asked me ages ago, could I do them without music because he was neurodivergent and found the music very distracting. So the 3 that I just put up today don't have music. So it was just fortunate that it worked out that way for me in terms of being able to upload them to the store. Now, in terms of dollars and cents, to date, there have been now 75 sales. Out of 23 orders. I think it's 23 orders or 33 orders, but there have been 75 sales. So what that means is that when somebody makes a purchase, that's called an order, and they might buy 5 things. So that's 5 sales, right? See what I mean? Like 33 orders or 23 orders, 75 sales. That's what happens. So anyway, and the dollar amount of the sales to date, so that's October and then the last week or 2 of September, so since I started, is $597. So I think that's about, I don't know, the Australian dollar is so bad at the moment. It's probably, I don't know, $800 Australian, which I think is heading in the right direction because it's really early days. And the idea of this Etsy shop was to be able to create additional passive income so that I could, of course, I look after my mum, and this will just be an extra level of security and safety for me in my business to know that I can actually, make some money while I'm not really working, if that makes sense. So it's passive income once you load everything up. The other thing that I've learned about having an Etsy store is that it's really affordable, which is great. Like it cost me 20 cents to list something, and that listing stays active for 4 months, and then you can set it to auto renew. And the other thing that I learned was it's really, really, really important to do 2 things. Number 1, have a lot of products or items on your store because nobody likes to walk into an empty shop, right? Because I'd like to, in my mind, I see my little Etsy store, although it's online, I see it as kind of being like a beautiful department store that's full of all wonderful things, And so in my little store, they call it categories on Etsy, but in my mind, I see it as departments. And I'm very, are you being served, Oh gosh, really showing my age now. But anyway, um, yeah, I see it in my mind as little departments. And so I've opened up a few more little departments in my store, and one of them's for spiritual things, and I'll keep adding to that. So that was one thing. Like, you have to have a lot of volume of products. So it means that for me, I'm averaging about 2 or 3 products a day going into that store. And then the other thing that I learned was, you never know what people are going to want to buy. So I thought that my audience would want to buy a particular thing, and it was my fully booked private practice planner. And I thought that they would want that because I had validated my offer. I'd gone in, I'd asked everyone what they needed, etc., etc. I had tested it. I test everything, don't I? I had tested it. I got reviews and testimonials for it. Oh, wonderful. Put it in my store and thought it was going to be my best selling item. I don't know that. I think maybe it's had 2 sales. The thing that is really interesting is you just never know. Despite your best research, well, this was my experience anyway, I just had no idea what people were going to want to buy. And so it's interesting now that we're approaching 100 sales, we're on 75. So there's only 25 more sales to go. And then I can really start to get a clear picture of what's moving in the store. But yeah, it's just really interesting to see because you think that people are going to want one thing, but actually they want something else completely different. So that would be if you're thinking about opening an Etsy store now, as I understand some of you are. That's wonderful. But do think about having a variety of things on your store. Okay. So yeah, I am loving it, but you know me, I go through phases. It's the masculine energy and the feminine. Actually, I get really swept away in things for a few months, and then I'm just like, I don't ever want to look at Etsy ever again. So what I'm going to do is just ride this wave of momentum while I've got it and fill up that store with as much as I possibly can. And then I'll just add to it periodically, not going at like a bull at a gate, which is what I'm doing now. But that's okay. Now, the other thing that I wanted to share with you too was, I'm doing this little bit of a social experiment with myself at the moment, and I'm about 2/3 of the way through that, and that's been really interesting. It's something that I want to share with you, as you know, but I need to finish it first and analyze the results, and then I want to repeat it because guess what? I kind of fell off the wagon with it a little bit. Again, total transparency. I was tracking a few things. Like I always track my numbers, I always track inquiries, I always track referrals, things like that. But I was also making a Trello board, and in the Trello board, I was using it to make notes about what I was doing, so that if this all worked out, like my very secret project, if it all worked out, then I would be able to make it all pretty and nice and, share it with you. So, fell off the wagon with that. I'm pretty sure I can remember what I did, but I have to be more diligent with that. So that's now in the diary as a formal thing to do. So I might be doing my little experiment for another 30 days and we'll see how we go with that. But so far, it looks like what I'm doing is working. So I'm very excited to be able to tell you more about that. And then the other thing that I wanted to share with you as well was, just the universe really. I was talking with some people around manifesting in the private practice. I'm very interested in how do I get more clients. That's a big question. So when people join my groups, I ask them in the join up questions, where do you need help? What are you struggling with? And every day, probably 9 out of 10 people will tell me finding clients. So anyway, I've been consulting the cards, and it's been really interesting. 2 days now, so Monday, Tuesday, the same card came out, which was guidance around, stepping back, having a rest, nurturing, recharging the batteries and things like that, which of course makes a world of sense because in order to be manifesting what you want, you've got to allow space to receive. right? Though in the moment, it kind of feels counterintuitive. You're like, oh, yeah, right. So you just want me to go for walks in nature and pick daisies and, drink coffee in the beautiful seaside with the open air and blah, blah, blah. I've got a business to run. I need clients. I need money. I need, all that, whatever it is that goes through our heads, right? So it feels counterintuitive, but honestly, I can share with you that it worked for me. The other thing that I know for myself, and I did a little video on this today on my Facebook business page. I streamed it from Zoom actually onto the page, and I had to do it twice because Facebook wasn't loading the video for some reason. I don't know. Anyway, what I realized was sometimes when we're focusing on the absence of things, we're not actually acknowledging and giving space for the things that we've already got, which, as you know, is super important to do, because when we raise our vibration to one of gratitude and even better, one of appreciation, we become a vibrational match to more things to be grateful and appreciative for. And for you and I, that means in our business, in our private practice. So there was that. But what I want to talk with you about today is this whole idea of cause and effect, because it's come up again. I spoke about cause and effect on a previous podcast episode. I think, gosh, we're up to 320 episodes now, so I can't really recall when it was. But it's so important because, especially when it comes to marketing your private practice, but not only that, especially when it comes to manifesting and creating success in the way you define success in your business. So here's what it looks like. If you are experiencing some unwanted thing, maybe it's a lack of clients, it's a paucity of clients, and you're saying, well, you know what, I'm in this situation, I've got no clients and no one's booking in, and it's because all the psychologists are taking away my clients, and we should be on Medicare, or whatever it is that you say to yourself, right? We've all got our own little inner dialogues. When you're in that space, what's happening is you are running the practice at effect, right? You are running the practice as a result of the effect of other people's actions or other people's inaction, right? So what this means is you're like in that victim mentality or in that victim role. Why is this happening to me? It isn't fair. Maybe I should go back to paid employment. I thought I was doing it the right way. Maybe I should lower my fees. All this sort of, no one wants to pay for my service. They all want to go and see psychologists, stuff like that. That is the victim mindset. It's also, you'll remember it from previous podcast episodes about the 4 levels of consciousness in private practice, and with that very first level being to me consciousness, which is everything's happening to you, everything's way out of your control, you're just at the mercy of everything, nothing you do is working, nothing you do is going well for you or the right way, irrespective of, you're just kind of in a space now where you just want to sit down and have a big cry. And do you know what? If you want to do that, that's totally fine. But here's the thing. You and I both know, we both know that everything that happens is temporary, okay? As a Buddhist principle as well, isn't it? That, everything is temporary. When we think about physics and quantum physics, we know that nothing stays the same, that everything's changing all of the time. So this may give you comfort if you're ready to hear it. If you're not ready to hear it and you need to sit in your stuff, okay? This is not a push or a pull to get you out of it. This is acknowledging you need to sit in your stuff sometimes. Even I sit in my stuff sometimes. But you will get to a point where you realize that you're ready and that something needs to change, something needs to give. And when you're in that level of awareness, you move into, when we speak about the levels of consciousness, you then move into by me consciousness. And that's where you start to take responsibility for things, but in a different way. So this is really important because it puts you back in control of the practice. It puts you back in control of the business. And that just has so many benefits, right? Because suddenly you get to direct everything. But when we're in this, right, we are now operating the practice from cause, not effect. Cause. So the first thing to do is to say, okay, what's this situation that I'm finding the business in right now? How did I cause it? What did I do that's resulted in this unwanted outcome? Or perhaps it was, what didn't I do that's resulted in this outcome? Did I not have the right forms signed off on? Did I not have the right processes in place? Did I not have automation set up? Did I, was I posting the wrong way on social media? Was I being too general on my website? All those sorts of things. So you want to identify how the behaviors or the thoughts or the feeling or the way you were showing up in your practice caused this unwanted situation. That's you taking responsibility. I know it's a bitter pill to swallow, isn't it? A bitter pill to swallow. Say that 10 times fast. And then what I want you to do is shift then into, okay, now that I understand that and I understand how it was caused, how can I now be the cause of change, right? What do I need to do? If I was responsible for creating change, what would that change look like? What do I need to do next? What's my next aligned action? All of those sorts of things. So, and when you step into that level of consciousness, big shifts happen, big changes happen, the momentum returns, your confidence returns, you're taking action again, and things start improving and getting better. So this is such an important concept to understand. So, I love spirituality, and I create frameworks around what it looks like in private practice for you. And today we're talking about the 4 levels of consciousness, but cause and effect actually comes from 2 places. It comes from psychology and it comes from neuro-linguistic programming, or NLP. I haven't studied NLP in any great depth or detail, and it wasn't ever something that was studied in all my 14 years of university training at Monash. But that concept of living at cause and living effect is shared between both psychology and NLP. So if you want to learn more about cause and effect, you can definitely go and look it up, and that'd be the 2 places to go and have a look. But yeah, it's interesting stuff. And, I think this is also interesting from another perspective, which is, a client perspective as well, thinking about, some of the clients that you're working with now. I'm sure you're able to think about the person you saw at 9 o'clock this morning and ask yourself, is this person living at cause or are they living at effect? Maybe you can think of other clients that you work with, your 1 o'clock or your 2 o'clock, and ask yourself, were they today in session at cause or effect? And it's just interesting. And once you become aware of it, it stays with you. It's really hard to unlearn things. And this can be a really, really helpful, effective, powerful lens for looking at what's going on in your private practice. So I'm sharing it with you today because I want you to have results. I really want you to be so successful in your business. And I would love for you to go and grab your, podcast journal and pen and make a note and just ask yourself, check in with yourself, am I, living at cause or effect here? Or am I showing up in my business at cause or effect? Or am I seeing this situation from cause or effect? And if it is effect, the next question to ask yourself in the journal will be, well, if I was living at cause, what would I be doing? How would I be taking control of the situation? So there are 2 great journal prompts there that you've got now that you can use that'll be very, very expansive for you and really help you create change in the right direction to experience greater results, more impact, be more effective with the business and with the clients that you work with. So I know, do you love it so much? I love it so much. And the other thing I love so much is we've had a whole bunch of new people join the Private Practice Success Hub. And if that's you and you're listening, hey, I want to say thank you so much. I hope that you love it. Some people were saying in there today that they've been downloading all the resources and they're working through them step by step. And it's so nice. It was a portal that was set up for people who are new to private practice or people who are in private practice but perhaps just need to tidy up a few things. And once you've set up the practice and tidied up a few things, then you get to move into the other group, which is the inner circle. And it's in the inner circle that we have, deeper conversations and other tools that are along the frameworks that I use to help you with marketing from soul, marketing from that spiritual space so that it feels really good and light and easy. And even there's a training in the Success Hub at the moment. It comes down tomorrow. So if you want to join, you've got like 24 hours. It comes down tomorrow. And it's all on marketing with soul so that you don't have to be pushing and feel like a salesman feeling or anything like that. So, and that's been getting some really, really, really wonderful feedback. So if you struggle with marketing and you need to get clients and stuff like that, maybe jump into the Success Hub and, watch that training before it disappears. If you're in the inner circle, you will receive it when I take it out of the Success Hub tomorrow. So that'll probably be tomorrow night in Australia time, right? Anyway, thank you so much for listening, and thank you for making this such a popular podcast. I had no idea that so many of you listened, and from all over the world as well. And I just want to say thank you. I appreciate you so much. And if you have requests for a podcast topic, let me know. Just contact me on Facebook or on Instagram at The Private Practice Coach. Bye for now, everyone. Have a lovely evening. I hope that you loved this episode as much as I loved putting it together for you. To get more resources to help you in your private practice, head over to Instagram. My handle is at The Private Practice Coach. And also, if you want more inquiries and referrals for your business, let me know. I have a program called Clients on Demand that opens every quarter, and I can absolutely get you some information for that as well. You are doing an amazing job. Thank you for sharing your gifts with the world. Bye.